students. So students, we already started our geography lesson, that is the earth and the graticule. Here students, what is the meaning of graticule? Yesterday I explained you the meaning of a graticule. Graticule means a lines, a network of lines which representing the meridians and parallels. So yesterday we learned about the graticule. So let us revise what we learned yesterday. Okay, so we learned about the imaginary lines on the earth, that is we learned about the globe. The geographers would develop the miniature model of the earth, that is called globe, because oceanic waters, uneven nature of the earth, land, forest, innumerable islands. So due to these things, it is impossible to draw such lines on the earth. That's why geographers would develop the miniature model, same like earth. They develop a one model like a earth. It's called globe, and on that globe they show the horizontal, vertical lines on the globe, which are not on a actual earth. These lines are only imaginary lines, which show the which determine the location of a place on the earth, that we learned yesterday. Also we learned the earth size. Its vertical size is 12,714 kilometers, whereas horizontal it is 12,756 kilometers. So we also learn about the angular distance. So in that, angular distance means what? Angle between two points or objects, means the location of any place on the earth determined with reference to the center of the earth. In order to, we consider a straight line from north pole to south pole, we joining the surface of the center of the earth. At the center, it makes an angle on the plane of the equal side. So that we learn. So hope all of you understood. Okay. So now let's move further. Let's move further. Today now we'll learn about parallels of latitude. Before that, we'll just see this image. You must realize that the ellipse which drawn by joining the points, which is larger the ellipse that joins the points. So this is because we are dealing with a sphere. Sphere means earth in a which shape? Sphere. Spherical shape means in a round shape. Note that these lines are appear to be ellipses in the earth. These imaginary lines on the globe, they are on the circles. The circles must be created some angular distance, which joins angles between two points, that is north and a south, angular distance. Okay, so they created some angular distance from center of the earth are parallel to one another. Parallel means similar to one another, equally. They are called parallels of the latitudes. Parallels of latitudes means what? A thing or a situation. What? Parallel of latitude means a thing or a situation that is similar to one another. Same thing, I told you that parallel to one another, similar to one another in a different situation, place or a time. Understood? The circles they created on some angular distance from north to south pole, they are parallel to one another or similar to one another in a situation, in a different situation, place or a time. They called parallels of a latitudes. The values of parallels are angular measure, which is expressed in a degrees. Parallels which are expressed in a degrees. Underline this sentence. The values of a parallels are angular measures expressed in a degrees. Okay, so the degrees of a parallels are measured from the equator as a equator, measured from a equator. That's why the equator is considered as a 0 degree parallel, center of the earth, not center of the earth, the parallel to from both the sides. It's considered a 0 degree 0 degree parallel. It is the largest parallel and also a great circle. That is 0 degree parallel. It is the largest parallel and also the great circle. The angular distance of other parallels towards north and south goes on increasing away from the equator. From 0 degree, it is increasing from the north side. Angular distance of other parallels towards the north side, it is and south, goes on increasing way from the equator. From the equator. So, understood students? First, the equator is considered as a 0 degree parallel. Then it is the largest parallel and a great circle, which is which distance of other parallels towards north and south goes increasing way. Goes increasing means getting up and up away from the equator. So, next is the meaning of the term equator. Now let us understand the actual meaning of the equator. Before moving, we'll just explain what is the meaning of equator. Equator means what? Equator means a line which are drawn on the earth, means that is imaginary lines. Okay, the line which are drawn on the earth from the poles. From the poles, both the poles, that is from north pole and from the south pole. The lines which drawn on the earth from both the poles which are dividing the earth, means both the poles which divide, we draw such lines which dividing the earth from both the poles on the earth into northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere. So let us understand the meaning of equator. Equator bisects the earth into north and south parts. Okay, as I told you that the earth which dividing with both the poles. Some parts, the one to the north is called northern hemisphere and from south it's called southern hemisphere. Towards north and south of the equator, means towards north and south, the parallels of latitude progressively became smaller and the smaller. It's going to smaller and smaller. From as we learned that the 0 degree parallel is the largest parallel which is going to from the north to south, towards north and south side it goes increasing. But here the equator which the towards north and south equator or parallels of latitude which goes smaller and smaller on the globe, means on that miniature model of the earth on the globe or also the earth. North and south ends the earth axis, ends of the earth axis, that is from x axis and y axis. Okay, so they appear as a points and these are called north pole and a south pole. On top north and from bottom it's a south. So both the axis, that is from that is called north pole and the south pole respectively. While mentioning the value of a parallel, it is necessary to mention whether it is while mentioning the value of a parallel, it is necessary to mention whether it is northern or a southern hemisphere. When you mention about this parallel, that time you have to mention it's related to northern or it's related to southern hemisphere. So the two parallels from the northern hemisphere, when we are talking about northern hemisphere, which is referred as a for example It's related, if it is related to northern hemisphere, then how we refer 5 degree n represented north. So 5 degree north, 15 degree north, 30 degree north, 50 degree north, like that way. So when we are when the parallels from the northern, that we refer northern hemisphere, are referred as a 5 degree north, 15 degree north, 30 degree north, like that way. And when we are talking about the southern hemisphere, then the southern hemisphere are referred to as a 5 degree s represented south. So 5 degree south, 15 degree south, 30 degree south, then the 50 degree south, like that way. Okay, understood? So n represented northern hemisphere or a north, or a s which is represented south, which is southern hemisphere. So a line joining all the places located to the north of the equator at an angular distance of 30 degrees. See the 30 degree north parallel, hence all the places on this parallel will be same latitude, which is 30 degree n, means 30 degree north latitude. New Orleans in a North America, see New Orleans in the North America have a 30 degree north latitude. Then Cairo in Africa, where it is. Then Basra, Lhasa in Asia, all are located in a 30 degree n, means 30 degree north hemisphere, like that way. The same concept is whole good for all the parallels. Okay, all the parallels. So one can draw, if we can draw 181 parallels on the earth at the interval of 1 degree. When we draw a parallels of 181 parallels, then the interval of the earth is a 1 degree, means at a 0 degree, that is the equator, that we know that at a 0 degree it's considered to be the equator. 0 degree, that is the equator. 90 parallels in the northern hemisphere is 1 degree north to 90 degree north. Same the southern hemisphere, 1 degree south to 90 degree south. Okay students, understood what is the meaning of equator? What is the meaning of parallels of latitude? Next is meridians of longitude. Okay, so before moving, we'll just understand the meaning of this meridian of longitudes. Meaning of longitude. Here also the meaning of longitude means the imaginary lines which drawn on the earth. Imaginary lines which drawn on the earth, on the globe, on the miniature model, that is longitude, which meet at the north and south poles. The imaginary lines which meet to the at the north and south poles, these lines are known as meridians. First, longitude means imaginary lines which meet at the north and south pole, and these are known as meridians. Understood? Now let's understand. So you will understand, you will realize these imaginary lines on the which drawn on the south and north poles, or at the center of the earth on the plane of the equator. These points we can draw a semicircles joining both the poles, with both from north and south poles. Starting with A points we can draw. So these semicircles are known as longitudes, meridians of longitudes, which means the north and south pole, the imaginary lines which meet at the both the poles. These lines are known as meridians of longitude. On these meridians, on these lines which meet at north and south pole, these meridians is considered to be 0 degree, and this 0 degree is known as prime meridian. Understood? So these meridians are is considered to be 0 degree, and this 0 degree is known as prime meridian. The angular distance, which is angle between both the points, angular distance of other meridians from the prime meridian are measured. Prime meridian, which is measured as in a degree, and are called longitudes. So the circle which divides the earth in the eastern and western hemispheres all are equal in a size, divided in equal parts, equal size. So the meridians in the eastern hemisphere, as we learn that if the parallels from northern hemisphere is referred as a for example 5 degree n means 5 degree northern hemisphere, or a 5 degree s means 5 degree south hemisphere. Same way, meridians on eastern hemisphere are labeled as a 10 degree e means 10 degree eastern hemisphere, while western hemisphere referred as a, they are labeled as a 10 degree w. W is represented as a western hemisphere. Okay, so though the earth is in a huge size, the size of the earth is very huge, so we can tell the exact location. While from using this concept, we can we can determine the exact location of a place on the earth using these latitudes and longitudes. With the help of these latitudes and longitudes, we can tell the exact location of the place on the earth. The distance between two adjacent is same everywhere, but the distance between the two adjacent meridians is not same everywhere. Okay, parallels distance is same, but the distance of meridians is not same everywhere. The distance between meridians is maximum on the equator, and the distance of the of meridians is a maximum on the equator, but goes decreasing towards these both the poles. At the poles it is 0. Let us understand the what is the exact distance. So the distance between any two adjacent parallels which is same everywhere, that is 111 kilometers on the surface of the earth, which is same everywhere, but the meridian's distance is also 111 kilometers from the equator. So to determine these places within this distance 111 kilometer exactly, we need to divide the unit degree into smaller units. Means degrees are divided into minutes and degrees which usse come minutes, में उससे कम seconds. So degrees are divided into minutes, then seconds, then minutes into seconds. See, latitudes and longitudes are expressed into degrees, minutes and seconds. How they express? What is the symbolic sign? See, each degree is divided into 60 minutes. Each degree is divided into 60 minutes and minute into 60 seconds. Means these values, these 60 minutes and 60 seconds are, these values are expressed by using the symbols. See these symbols. For degree, you can draw a small circles on the top of the figure. Then for minutes, you can put a converted comma, inverted comma, and for seconds you put a double inverted comma. These are the symbols which expressed for degree, minutes and seconds. Okay students, all of you understood? Anyone have any doubt about these meridians of longitude, parallels of latitude?